Alright, so I'm going to be honest, I'm not going to have a lot to say about this week's chapter of the Seven Deadly Sins. Honestly, not a whole lot happened, but we did learn a few things that I feel are kind of clear up a little bit of what happened in the last chapter. One thing we did find out in this chapter that I thought was a little interesting was that we get to see that Elizabeth is going to go through a trial of her own in order to, I guess, boost up some healing powers that she has, which is going to be really, really beneficial towards some battles later on in the future. And she's pretty much told that if she cannot control her powers and learn to use them, she's not going to be any use at all in the battles to come in the future. And we also learned what is going to be Meliodas and his trial, what his real trial is going to be, at least the finer points of it for the most part. He is pretty much going to be reliving in an endless loop Liz's death over and over and over again until he really learns to control his anger, which is pretty much what we learned how Danafor got destroyed. He found Liz dead, and his rage went out of control and destroyed the entire kingdom of Danafor. And we definitely, at the beginning of this chapter, we did get to see the extent of just how much Meliodas has to control his anger. The reason it was taken away from him, by the one chick whose name I cannot remember off the top of my head. Again, running theme in these videos, I am terrible at names. But the reason they took his powers away from him is because he has a hard time controlling his anger to the extent that he needs to in order to not make events like Danafor happen. And I thought that was pretty interesting. We pretty much learned all this by there was a girl that tried to help the Seven Deadly Sins 10 years ago, and she got injured, and Meliodas almost lost his shit. And that is when it's gonna bug me that I can't remember her name. It's on the tip of my tongue too. God damn it. But we pretty much learned that she took his powers away and asked the druids to hold on to it. Now, the only thing I don't really like is that the way they phrased one of the pages in this chapter was that Meliodas cannot have his strength back. He cannot have what is truly his until he passes this test. While it is important, Meliodas does need to learn how to control his anger. I hate it when I see something like it's his strength. It belongs to Meliodas, but they're not going to give it back to him unless he does something to get it back. Well, it's like it's fucking his in the first place. Just give it back to him. And that kind of irritates me. I don't like it when they use that as an excuse to go through something. But we did learn that it's not getting his strength back that is going to be the hard part. It's keeping it under control, obviously, why he needs to control his anger. And that's pretty much it for this chapter, to be honest with you. It was kind of an average chapter. I would probably give it about a 5 or a 6. Didn't really blow me away in any particular way, just kind of touched on some finer points, filled in some holes that kind of needed to be filled in from the last chapter. But that was pretty much it for this chapter. Thank you all so much for watching this video. I hope you all enjoyed. If you guys have any comments or suggestions on how I can make these videos better, just leave them down in the comment section below. And if you guys actually did like this video, if you guys could give it a thumbs up, I would very much appreciate it. Or subscribe, that would also be very much appreciated. And thank you all so much for the love and support you've left on all the previous videos. It's been awesome. I love you all, and I will see you all next time. I am out.